Our first tale takes us back to France in July 1518, where an extraordinary event unfolded that still perplexes historians today. Picture this. The town of Strasbourg is going about its usual business when suddenly, a woman named Frau Troff steps into the street and begins to dance. There's no music playing, no festival in progress. It's just her and the rhythm that seems to have taken over her body. As the townsfolk watch, what begins as a curiosity soon turns into a spectacle of horror. Frau Troff doesn't stop dancing, not after an hour, not after a day. She dances through the night, her feet beating a ceaseless tattoo on the cobblestones. But the story takes an even stranger twist. This bizarre compulsion to dance doesn't remain with Frau Troff. It's contagious. One by one, more townsfolk join her in this macabre dance marathon. By the end of the month, around 400 people are caught in the grip of this uncontrollable urge. They dance until they collapse, some even until they die. This inexplicable event, which has come to be known as the dancing epidemic of 1518, has puzzled historians and scientists for centuries. Over the years, many theories have been proposed to explain it. Some suggest it was a case of mass hysteria, a collective stress response to the hard times the town was facing. Others point to ergotism, a condition caused by consuming rye bread contaminated with a certain kind of fungus. But none of these theories fully explain why it started, why it ended, or why it never happened again. Despite the many questions that surround the dancing epidemic, one thing is certain. For 1 month in 1518, the streets of Strasbourg were home to a dance of death, a dance that no one could explain or stop. As abruptly as it started, the epidemic ended a month later, leaving behind a trail of questions. Now let's shift gears to a more recent mystery, one that surfaced in 1997. This is the tale of Mel Waters and his alleged discovery on his property in Washington, a deep, mysterious hole with seemingly supernatural properties. Imagine the scene. You're out on your property and you stumble upon a hole. Not just any hole, but one that seems to extend into infinity, a yawning abyss beneath your feet. This is the experience Mel Waters claimed to have had back in the late 90s. Mel's hole, as it came to be known, was purportedly 9 feet in diameter, and according to Mel, at least 80,000 feet deep, a depth that seems to defy the very laws of physics. But the strangeness doesn't stop there. Mel didn't just claim to have found a bottomless pit in his backyard, he also attributed some bizarre, almost supernatural properties to it. He spoke of the hole's eerie silence, its ability to swallow up all that was thrown into it without a sound. He also reported a strange phenomenon involving his dogs, who seemed terrified of the hole and refused to go anywhere near it. But perhaps the most astonishing claim Mel made was about the hole's alleged power to resurrect the dead. He told a story about his deceased dog, which he claimed to have thrown into the hole, only for it to return alive the next day. As outlandish as it sounds, the story of Mel's hole captivated listeners when he first shared it on a radio show. However, the plot thickened when Mel claimed that the government got wind of his discovery and seized his land, forcing him to relocate to Australia. He alleged that the government was conducting secret experiments on the hole, further fueling speculation and intrigue around the mysterious pit. In the years following Mel's radio interview, his story gained a cult following. Curious individuals and journalists attempted to locate the hole, eager to verify Mel's claims. But despite their best efforts, they came up empty-handed. There were no records of Mel Waters owning land in the area he had described. The hole, like Mel, seemed to have vanished into thin air. In 2008, a glimmer of hope emerged when a local man named Red claimed he knew of the hole and had even witnessed its peculiar properties. He spoke of an experiment where he had lowered a bucket of ice into the hole, only for it to emerge on fire. Yet despite these tantalizing hints, no physical evidence of the hole was ever found. And so, the mystery of Mel's hole continues to perplex us. Despite the numerous attempts by journalists and curious individuals, neither the hole nor Mel Waters could be verified. Their existence remains shrouded in mystery. We are left with more questions than answers. A chilling reminder of the enigmatic world we live in and the secrets it continues to harbor. Did you know about the mysterious poisoning incident on the set of the iconic film Titanic? Yes, the cast and even the director, James Cameron, fell victim to this baffling event. Let's unravel this mystery. It was a day like any other on the set of Titanic, a film that would later become one of the highest-grossing movies of all time. The cast and crew were wrapping up their final scenes, a moment of celebration that quickly turned into a nightmare. Suddenly, over 50 members of the film crew, including director James Cameron, started to experience severe symptoms. They were vomiting, disoriented, and some even hallucinated. The set was thrown into chaos as medical teams rushed in to help. The authorities were quickly notified and an investigation was launched. The first suspicion fell on the food that was served that day. The crew had consumed a seafood chowder for dinner, and it was thought that food poisoning could be the culprit. However, the symptoms experienced were far more severe than typical food poisoning, and the onset was almost immediate after consumption, which was unusual. The investigation took a dramatic turn when it was discovered that the chowder had been laced with PCP, also known as angel dust, a powerful hallucinogenic drug. The question then shifted from what happened to who was responsible. The incident had escalated from a case of food poisoning to a deliberate act of sabotage. The authorities interrogated every person on set, but no one was ever charged. The case went cold, leaving the cast and crew with an unsettling memory and a lingering question. Who would do such a thing, and why? James Cameron, in subsequent interviews, has described the incident as one of the most bizarre and frightening experiences of his life. He and the rest of the crew were left with no answers, only speculations and theories. Despite a thorough investigation, the source of the poisoning remains a mystery. We've journeyed through some of history's most baffling unsolved mysteries, each leaving us with more questions than answers. We started with the dancing epidemic of 1518, an event that saw hundreds of people in France dancing uncontrollably, some even to their deaths, a phenomenon that remains unexplained to this day. From there, we ventured into the modern era with the tale of Mel's mysterious hole, a supposed bottomless pit in Washington with alleged supernatural properties. Despite captivating listeners with tales of resurrected animals, its existence remains yet to be confirmed. Lastly, we delved into the enigma of the Titanic set poisoning, an incident that affected the entire film crew, including the director, James Cameron. The cause of this mass poisoning remains a mystery, adding another layer of intrigue to the iconic film. These tales remind us that the world is full of mysteries, waiting to be explored. Until next time, keep your curiosity alive and stay tuned for more intriguing stories.